There she was yet again, my mother, teaching me that last lesson just when I wasn't looking. My mother taught me about forgiveness. It was only 2 years ago, and I had everything. I have a wonderful husband, a daughter who loves me, and a big, beautiful home. We had a big, huge backyard and a dog. His name is Chocolate Chip. I had everything. I love my life. I love my career. And it seemed like everything I had worked so hard for was finally coming to fruition. And then the bottom dropped out. I was losing my home. I was terrified, mortified, embarrassed, depressed. I'll tell you about my mother. My mother is everything to me. As a little girl, she was my superhero, and as an adult, my very best friend. There's nothing in the world that she wouldn't do for us or for me. Like in this case, she said, I have this novel idea. I have this huge house and all this space. Why don't you just come live with me? Well, it seemed like a kismet opportunity. And so we moved in with my mother. So you ask, how was this anything to do with forgiveness? Psychologists define forgiveness as that concise and deliberate decision to release a person, release someone from resentment or vengeance, to release feelings of resentment or vengeance towards a person or a group of persons who've done harm to us. And that's whether or not we believe they deserve our forgiveness. Easier said than done. You tell me, you think forgiving is easy? Forgiving is hard work. And so we moved in with my mother. What we had found out was something that we didn't know was happening all along. This beautiful, tenacious, and brilliant woman was suffering from a disease known as dementia. And dementia is a deterioration of the mind as we know it. I don't know how many of you know anyone that's living with this debilitating disease, but you know how painful it is to watch, and even more so to endure. My mother was on this constant rotation of frustration every day because her home, which was once this familiar territory, had now become a foreign land. And with that, anyone that lived in it. So you can see it was during this time my mother and I, we didn't quite see eye to eye. We fought every single day. There wasn't a day when she didn't say I was lying to her, I was stealing from her, I was destroying her property. And we were basically intruders in her home, and we tiptoed past her just to make peace. But I had to realize this isn't my mother. She's there, but her mind is just withering away. Here I am at my lowest point of my life, and I need to find strength to be there for her. So I started writing, just writing. I needed to find a way, a release. I had to find a way to forgive her every day, because every day she would say I was doing something, and I knew I wasn't. I had to find a way to forgive her because she would constantly tell me I was wrong about everything. And she held on to a grudge like a dog with a bone. I can tell you it was pretty tumultuous. And one of the worst experiences ever. But at the same time, it was liberating. Because here's one thing I learned. Forgiveness is a superpower. It takes incredible strength to release someone that's done harm to us. And holding on to resentment is just toxic. How do you define forgiveness? I even asked a few of my closest friends what did they perceive of this concept of forgiveness. There was one word that permeated our conversation, and that was unconditional love. I heard this once. Death of an ego is birth to a vision. I imagine a bird in a cage with a broken leg and the gate wide open. Just fly. That's what I had to tell myself, because I had to learn how to let go of the ego. I had to learn to let go of the anger, just so that I could be my best self for her. I had to let go because otherwise it would just rob me of my energy. Hurt gets in the way. Thankfully, I can say I'm living in a new home. I still have my beautiful husband and my daughter, who makes me smile every day. We have another huge backyard, and I still have chocolate chip. My mother passed away last year, but it wasn't before she taught me the most valuable lesson of them all. She taught me about forgiveness, not only unconditional love, but to forgive. The Book of Forgiveness says that to forgive is the innate preservance of happiness. I get it now. Forgiveness isn't something we do for others, it's something we do for ourselves. There you go, Mommy, teaching me that last lesson. Thank you. Just when I wasn't looking.